Coalition present the first concert of the 2015-2016.
Louisiana All American Sports Show, 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 Louisiana. If it's sports you want to talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Derek Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and explain to you about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. They hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready, boy. You better not miss Louisiana All American Sports Show, Louisiana All American Sports Show, Louisiana All American Sports Show, Louisiana. It's Joe P. I did it live for you this week. What's up?
That was on point, Joker. I'm like, well, wait a minute, baby. He stole the intro. It sounded so much like the regular intro. Now you got talent, you got skills. Man. Seriously consider this back to the studio, Joe.
I know. Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking about it, you know, and I still got a few fans out there. And hey, you never know. Be on the lookout 2016. I got a lot of things surprised for you. But I want to welcome everybody to the Louisiana All American Sports Show. My name is Gerard Piper, and today is September the 19th, and we have a great show lined up for you. I'm joined today, actually in the Bluegrass State, in the state of Kentucky, by the brainchild of this operation, Coach Perry Daniels. What's going on, man? Tell us something good.
Hey, man, it's a great day here in the lovely state of Kentucky. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky for the big Eastern Division SEC game tonight between the two undefeated teams, or two of the three undefeated teams in this division. Here you have Florida taking on Kentucky, and it should be a really good football game tonight, and I'm excited about it and glad to be here to see it live and in person.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Hey, man, look, I want to make a couple of corrections on last week's show, man, because, you know, I'm a professed hip-hop head, and I made a mistake last week, and I don't want the fans, our listeners, to think that we're just intentionally putting out erroneous information. Last week, while we were speaking with Raekwon Powell and trying to explain to him his name, Raekwon Powell is the receiver who was our player of the week last week from McKinley High. We were trying to explain to him that his parents are probably familiar with the Wu-Tang Clan, who has the very famous Raekwon as their member. And I erroneously mentioned that Busta Rhymes was a former member of the group, and
yes,
he was not.
No, he is not. That was leaders of the new school. Right.
So, the other thing, man, as we were talking about Freddie Gray, I mentioned in that dialogue or monologue regarding Freddie Gray. Well, it was a dialogue because you and Eric also got involved. But I mentioned the murder of Freddie Gray, and I just want to be clear that none of the officers associated with the death of Freddie Gray have been charged with murder. That murder is a legal term, and I used that last week, and again, that was another error on my part. They have been accused of facilitating his death, but no one has been charged with murder. So,
right.
Now that we've cleared those two things up, Joker, let's get to the high school sports and the gridiron last night in the Baton Rouge area.
Well, we had a good game last night in the Baton Rouge area. We had it actually we call it the Sticks down here in White Castle. It was the White Castle Bulldogs was hosting the Donaldsonville Tigers, and man, it was a great game. First, I want to tell you that no matter what, it's not about the size of the dog. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And that's what White Castle showed me last night. These guys play very disciplined defense. They play very disciplined offense. And they were a smaller team, but the fight in them and the discipline they played, they was able to overcome the size disadvantage that Donaldsonville had on them. And they won with a score of 40-34. And I actually had a chance to chime in with the head football coach of White Castle. And this is what he had to say.
It's Gerard Piper with Louisiana All American Sports, and I'm here with Coach Thomas with the White Castle Bulldogs on the great victory they had tonight over Donaldsonville Tigers. How you feel about your team?
Well, I thought the kids fought hard. Played against a very talented Donaldsonville team with some great size at receiver. None like I've ever seen since I've been coaching. You got 6'6", 6'4", 6'5" receivers and a 6'5" quarterback throwing the ball all over the field, And I'm just glad the way our guys just stuck together and battled in there, just hung in there, and made the little adjustment that we needed at the end in order to secure the victory.
Yeah, you got off to a big lead in the third quarter. You was able to put some points on the board, but like you said, with those big receivers, they was able to make some big plays, and at the end, you was able to withstand them. How do you feel about, finishing the game?
Well, the big lead was crucial to us being able to pull out the win. We was able to get ahead of them, and unfortunately, they can't be patient and run the football. They have to throw it, and I think that's what they do best. They got those big receivers, and what we're afraid of with our smallest defensive backs is just the jump balls and stuff like that. So we kind of stayed away from that in the first half, but it kind of bit us a couple of times, later on in the game, and and that's their game. That's their game. That type of height, they play basketball on grass, and that's really what it amounts out to be. They jump up and big talented receivers make a play.
And I thought we also saw that too. They started throwing the jump balls basically, but with them having the height over your defensive back, they made a couple of big plays. But I saw the defense adjustment you made with double teaming them, also not allowing them to get behind you. Was that a specific thing that you told your defense?
We had to pick our spots. We changed up a little bit on defense, and we double teamed the receivers a little bit, and then we also kind of picked our spots where we wanted to bring pressure and quit trying to do the same thing so they can get us pegged on exactly what we was doing. And I want to tip my hat off to the kids because, taking the safety at the end, we kind of drew that up, to buy us a little time to come out with the victory because, we knew we could take the safety and still run some clock off. And if they would have maybe one play at best. And so that kind of worked out for us. And the kids made the adjustments on defense because we came and did a totally different defense in the second half. And the kids responded. They made the adjustment. And, it worked out for us.
And it worked out for you. And I just want to thank you, man, on a tremendous victory tonight. And good luck to you.
All right,
and thank you once again. All right, bro.
And like he said, the Donaldsonville Tigers had a couple of great receivers. They were 6'5" and 6'6", so they was towering over the 5'7" and 5'8" defensive backs of the White Castle Bulldogs. And I like the quote he said. He said that Donaldsonville was playing basketball on grass. And I thought and he kind of explained that, and that's exactly what they did. They got behind early in the game. White Castle jumped out on a big lead on them. Not a big lead, but they went up 2 scores, and they 16-0. And after that, it just seemed like Donaldsonville started going to say, hey, we're just going to use our height, and just started throwing the ball up, and the receiver was coming down with it, and they ended up making a real good game out of it in the end. White Castle actually had to take a safety in order to preserve the win. But I thought it was a great game, man. And a great game by the running back, Dontrell Hilliard. He had probably over 200 yards. This young man is a 765-foot senior, and he led this team. He had over 200 yards. I wish I had the stats to tell you exactly how many yards he had. But actually, I did get a chance to speak with the young man, and this is what he had to say.
It's Gerard Piper with Louisiana All American Sports, and I'm here with my player of the game and the man of the hour, Dontrell Hilliard. I don't know exactly how many yards you got, but I know it's had to be at least over 200 yards. You played a good game, though. How do you feel about it?
I feel good. I feel like the line we executed our blocks. We finally came together as one unit. And I count on them guys. I count on my coaches. I trust in them guys. And that did just put me through.
I saw that later in the game. I don't know if you had cramp issue or calf issues. But, man, I just want to commend you for I saw them working on you a little bit on the sideline, but you came in and made another couple of big runs. How you feel? Was you hurting or how you feel about that?
Yes, I was hurting, but I felt like I'm a senior. I got to be a leader. I can't let them guys down. I had to push it through. I had to fight through. I had to give it every ounce I got to lead these guys to the promised land.
Well, you definitely did that, man, and I just want to commend you again. I want to thank you for the hard work you're doing and being a leader. If anything else you want to say to about this team going forward?
Yes, sir. It's a turning point. I feel like this is a turning point. I feel like we coming together. And I feel like starting tomorrow, the Bulldogs back. We ready. We coming hard every down, every second.
Well, you heard it here from the man of the hour, Dontrell Hilliard, my player of the game, man. Hey, we're going to recap this game tomorrow morning, Louisiana All American Sports Show. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Last week, this team played Madison Prep, and that was an emotional battle because the defensive coordinator that we heard Coach Lamar Thomas speak of, who made the fantastic adjustments in the second half,
right,
was the former head coach of Madison Prep.
Wow, okay.
So for them to come back and play a rival like Donaldsonville on the heels of getting blown out by Madison Prep, that says a whole lot for them to beat that bigger school down the road, down the sugarcane field, and to beat Donaldsonville the way that they did. So that is awesome. They are in a really tough district. You've got Southern Lab, and you've got Kentwood that they have to compete with, as well as West St. John.
Right.
So it's just a really, West St. John elevated. They elected to play up before Coach Valdez moved, so they're no longer in that district. They've won it the past 4 years, but they have moved up. So now the beast of the district are Southern Lab and Kentwood. So.
Oh, that's the deal. Hey, and guess who the cat done drug in? A cool cat, though. He's a cool cat. My colleague, the man himself, the man of the hour, Mr. Eric Hatfield is here. I'm so happy he joined us. He actually called the game with me last night, and I just want to get his 2 cents in on what you saw, man.
I think you guys, y'all know I can raise up mic number 2. You guys know I can talk infinitum. There we go. I can talk all day long, but I think, Joker, sometimes less is more. You summed it up very well. I'll be repeating stuff that you said, that, Dontrell Taylor was the story of the night. And I were to sum it up, I would say that the game was won with COACHING, coaching. And the bottom line is, if you looked at those two teams, if you just looked at them and didn't know anything about anybody, you'd say, Donaldsonville's going to win this by 2-3 touchdowns easily. But it was coaching. You could tell the offensive linemen were smaller than the defensive linemen, who were very talented, made great tackles in the open field, and yet Coach Thomas's offensive linemen opened up holes. That is with coaching and technique. It's not with power, because the other guys were bigger. Dontrell Taylor ran. You had to even when he was almost on the ground, those legs kept on going. It took 3, 4, 5 guys to bring him down. He was always getting an extra 2 or 3 yards. That's partially his talent, and also partially from coaching technique. And then, Donaldsonville in the end, they started using their height and advantage to get back in the game. But the bottom line is, Coach Thomas was always a step ahead of Coach Gilbo. That is what we covered last night on the Louisiana All American Sports Game of the Week was a case in point of the benefit of coaching, because it was Coach Thomas, and he outcoached his opposition. That was the difference in the game, because size wise, if you look at it, the White Castle was at a distinct disadvantage. It was strategy, and White Castle. They checkmated him.
He checkmated him. He made all of the right He made all of the right adjustments, and after talking to him in the locker room, he seems to have a great grasp of his team and what he needs for them to do. And that's to me, that's a mark of a great coach. Not putting something on the team and making them do something, seeing what you have to work with and making that work for you. If you have to, if I have a team that is not as physical and I have speed, I'm going to have to use my advantage, use speed. Use certain plays that speed is an advantage of to bring out my team to give them the best chance to win. So I thought he did an absolutely fabulous job last night. They jumped right out and got the lead. They came right out their first possession and scored, and from there they was able to hold off Donaldsonville at the end with those Hail Mary.
Oh, that was I was holding my breath during that. I don't know when we're going to move on to the other high school ones, but I do want to touch on Madison Prep when we do get there, because what they're doing is quite remarkable right now.
Wow. Well,
let's go there now, man.
Yeah, we're glad you brought that up. In other area local games, we had Walker actually beating Capital 60-3. We got a couple of scores on that game, but we're going to go with this score, 60-3. They had another score in the paper, the Capital 47-7 over Walker. So
I'm going to go with Walker winning that game. I mean, I think Coach Duncan's a very good coach. I think he's brought that team a long way in a short period of time. But I'm going to assume that Walker did not lose 47-7 at the hands of Capital.
Right, and of course McKinley. McKinley won last night, 21-6 over St. Michael, and McKinley is over 500. They're 2-1. Scotlandville won big, 59-18 over Wilkinson County in Mississippi. Southern Lab won last night, 26-14. Bel Air won.
Who did Southern Lab beat? Did you get their opponent?
Southern Lab beat West St. John, 26-14.
Wow.
Big win.
Yeah,
let's also say Coach Valdez list like West St. John.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure he would want us to specify that too. That's still impressive for Southern Lab.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And Port Allen unfortunately lost last night to Livonia. Put up a good fight. It was 42-25. Bel Air actually won again. Bel Air is 3-0, man. We have to give kudos to that program. The turnaround they have so far.
Fantastic job Coach Clark is doing over there. You're good. Outstanding. I know the mentality of some of those kids, and for them to start off 3-0 is just truly amazing. I don't care who they play.
Exactly.
Yeah. As Zachary wins big, 38-25 over East Ascension. And we already recapped and told you White Castle won 40-34 over the Donaldsonville Tigers.
And Port Allen fell again to Livonia.
Yeah, they came up a little short, 42-25. And those.
And
who else we got?
Bruley. Let's get the Bruley score in.
And Bruley actually came up a little short. I saw it earlier. I'm going to get the score here for you. And
okay, we'll come back to that.
In just a second. Yeah, we'll come to that. But I know
Eric bring his Madison Prep update.
I mean, we talked about these opponents and these very good teams, and one thing that a few of them have in common is they've all lost to Madison Prep, that they've lost to Madison Prep Academy and or are on the schedule. Madison Prep against 4A. Did Livonia win the whole thing last year, or were they in the?
Yes, they did.
They did. So
now, keep in mind, though, Eric, that Coach Brown is no longer with Livonia, who was the offensive coordinator last year. But they do have their quarterback returning. They won the state championship with a junior quarterback.
And they're always. I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
No, they're still a quality program.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
So Madison Prep has beaten Livonia. They've beaten White Castle, we covered last night, and they stomped East St. John. That's the same school, 27-8. This team is a 1A school. They went from being kind of
2A school.
They're 2A I'm sorry, you're right. They're in District 6 2A, but they went from a few years ago being Class B, which is basically playing a lot of JV games, to kind of taking a beating in Class 1A to making the playoffs, getting to the state semifinals last year. Now they're beating big boys.
Right.
This football team is on the verge of becoming parallel with the basketball team, which, in spite of being last year 1A, now 2A, could probably beat any team in the state. It is remarkable what's going on over there at Madison Avenue in such a short period of time, so quickly.
You have to be very impressed with both of their programs, just their athletic program, period. These guys are trying to make a mark to be one of the main staples of the Scotlandvilles, of the McKinleys, and they want their name to be mentioned as one of the big boys here in the city of Baton Rouge.
They're getting there quickly.
Yeah, and what's going to be interesting is how far they go this year. They went to the semifinals last year.
Correct.
Wow.
But they've stepped up in class this year, and they're going to play some higher quality programs.
They're beating them now.
Absolutely, but they're beating public schools now. They are a select school. So it's going to be interesting to see once we get into the playoffs how that develops. Don't get me wrong. They've got a tremendous amount of talent, and Coach Roach is familiar with being in that area and playing football at that time of year. He did it year in and year out at Southern Lab. He's one of the best coaches in the state.
Wow.
And that's why when we had Coach Johnny Duncan on, and I made the statement that I have no animosity Madison Prep, it's because of Coach Roach. Coach Roach is a former defensive coordinator in the SWAC.
Oh yeah, he's
I can understand.
Yeah. I mean, yep. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're just John Q, I got you. And I was trying to think of a basketball analogy and use LeBron James. I just couldn't spit it out quickly enough. But you get the idea. They brought in a very quality coach. Speaking of Madison Prep, we have not confirmed this yet, but we will probably be bringing you Madison Prep as they face Capitol High and Coach Duncan next week on the Louisiana All American Sports Game of the Week. It'll be next Friday, 7 o'clock, right here on 96.9 FM WHYR LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. That's unconfirmed, but if you check at LouisianaAllAmericanSports.com, once that is confirmed, we will post that to the schedule. But it should be, you'll get a taste of what they have to offer.
Yes, indeed. And I want to recap the game. We talked about Bruley. Bruley came up a little short, 35-31 over STA, which is St. Thomas Aquinas. They lost, and Catholic rose past Sam Houston, 47-7.
Oh, that's Bruley's first loss of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yes, indeed, man. Hey, you're in Kentucky, man. So what's going on out there in Kentucky?
Well, let's head to the music break, and then we'll come back and hit our comments.
Yeah. And that's why I kind of wanted to have a segue. That's why I asked you. I was on top of it.
Look, here's the plan for the rest of the afternoon.
Yes,
we've got two really good football teams here, and once I finish the show, I'm here with my brother and sister-in-law. My son, my oldest son, Lindell, is here with us, and we're going to see what TV can do. And what the Kentucky Wildcats can do. They pulled off a great upset. Well, I don't know if it was a real upset. The second year in a row they beat South Carolina.
Yeah.
But they did it this year in South Carolina. So
that's progress.
This is progress. And if they can win this game, it really sets them up to really challenge Georgia, who's favored in the East, of course.
Right.
Well,
so
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, well, since you mentioned Georgia last week, we'll have a special song for Georgia next week. I'm gonna keep that a surprise. But as of for Kentucky, we got some people right from Kentucky called the Nappy Roots.
Yep.
So hey, check this out, song of the week.
Today I just woke up. Gonna have a good day.
Yeah. It's Joker P. Yeah, it's Joker P. I'm on the MIC. I've been doing this here since '93. Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Man, keep it going,
Man, come on, wait a minute. See how y'all do, man. See how y'all try to, man, just like, I feel like Al Pacino. Every time I try to get out, it just pulls me back.
Hey, I was going to join you too, Joe.
Yeah, I know. They must have forgot. Don't let get it twisted. Yes, indeed, man. That's a great song. Great song, man. It is going to be a good day. Sometimes
it's going to be a good day, man. It's going to be a good day in North Baton Rouge and South Baton Rouge. Even tomorrow's going to be a good day in the state of Louisiana.
That's right, man. And it's going to be a good day. And
I sincerely hope so.
That's right. And speaking of good days, it's going to be a good day on that yard today up at Southern, man. It's going to be a big game today. We got J-State coming in town. They're tailgating and getting ready. So, hey, let's get to it. What you think, Eric?
Big old rivalry game, man. College football on the bluff. Southern University, they got Jackson State coming to town. Always a big matchup. So big it's going to be on ESPNU and ESPN3 and KQXL 106.5 FM here in Baton Rouge at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's going down over there. Jackson State and Southern. I can't even do it as much justice as Perry could. Perry, could you brief the audience that might not be familiar with the significance of this rivalry or HBCU football, what we're talking about here?
Oh, wow. It doesn't get much bigger. You've got Walter Payton played in this game. Mel Blount.
Wow.
Both schools are rich in NFL history. Hall of Famer Aeneas Williams played in this game. So there's just a lot of tradition when these two schools get together. It's been sold out for a while. The bands are going to get together. Folks are up on campus right now, barbecuing and tailgating. You know how we do in South Louisiana.
Yes, indeed.
So folks got there last night,
That's right.
and started cooking and camping out. And the atmosphere is just going to be tremendous. If you've never experienced HBCU football at its best, this is one of the best atmospheres there is.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
And you just got to figure that the Jags are going to pull this out the way that they've been playing this year. And let's hope Willie Quinn has a big game.
I'm with you, Coach. I like the Jaguars in this game. I think they have a unique opportunity, really, after Willie Quinn made Swiss cheese, and really all the Jaguars made Swiss cheese out of the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State last week, and Willie Quinn had the little Sports Center highlight. This is an opportunity with this game being on one of the ESPN networks to really, again, to showcase how much fun this type of football is. It's different. It's more community oriented. It's more personal, and it's a lot of fun to watch. The crowd really gets into it. The halftime show is just as entertaining as the product on the field. But I think Southern really has a chance to make a name for itself because when you get in the spotlight like this, when you have highlights on ESPN, the likes of Willie Quinn, and then you have a game today on ESPN, and I believe the first game was on the La Tech game, even though they lost, is on a big network. This is a lot of good exposure for Southern University, so I'm looking forward to this. I think this is one of the crown jewels. This particular rivalry is one of the crown jewels of regular season Southwestern HBCU football. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, Southern. They can put up a lot of offense. This is not a surprise to anybody. Jackson State is interesting because they have some years where they're really, really on top of things, and then they have some, like just a couple of years ago they were the runner-ups in the SWAC. I don't know, Coach. Do you have a read on Jackson State this year? Because I really don't. I don't know what to make of them. I can't get my hands around this team this year.
So Coach Comagee was the head coach when we covered the SWAC championship a couple of years ago in Houston. He's now moved on to Mississippi Valley.
Ooh.
So this program is kind of finding its identity. They have a rich tradition. They're going to come out and play hard. It's kind of like when Southern plays Grambling. You throw the records out the window. You never know who's going to win the game. So it's going to be a very competitive game, but this program isn't at its usual stage of dominance. Jackson State dominated the SWAC for several years.
Yes, they did.
So, no, they're rebuilding.
So we have that game, 5 o'clock. Let's, I guess, maybe go around the horn here. I think, and that kind of reinforced what I was already thinking. I think Southern wins this game. I think they might even win a little comfortably. I think they might win comfortably. You mentioned Coach Comagee went to Mississippi Valley State, which I did not know, and I just got to wonder, and maybe you can chime in on this, why? Why would you do that? I mean, the Delta Devils have struggled, but did they bring him a king's ransom? I mean, that's not a destination program. It seems to me he was in a better place, at least intuitively, that's what I would think.
Yeah, he was actually, I agree with you, with the exception of sometimes the politics of HBCUs will wear on you emotionally. And I think he was just looking for a pure place to just coach football. I think the pressure of being at Jackson State just became a little too much, and he felt like he was better than, he had delivered a better product than the way he was treated.
Right. I totally agree with that. A lot of people never notice the thing that goes on behind the scenes, and I think sometimes people look at opportunities different ways. I can remember a quote from you, Coach, when you said that You know, when you take a job, you may think it's a bad job, but look at it as an opportunity. So I think maybe he looked at, you know, as bad as that program was, this is an opportunity to make me look good if I can turn this thing around. I've did it before. I've taken the team to the SWAC championship in 2013 against Southern, even though we came up a little short. That's one of the things which have started this rivalry. You know, Southern's been going back and forth. We don't know what we're going to get from J-State this year. We know about Willie Quinn. He has 3 touchdown returns already in 2 games. I think that they're going to probably kick away from him. That will be my strategy. Not even give him the ball. So in this game, I'm going to go with the hometown. Of course, I'm going to go with just the pressure, the atmosphere. I think Southern has the momentum. I think the loss that Southern had in their first game actually helped them, and I think they're have confidence. And I think they're going to win. I'm picking Southern.
Yeah, a quick update for the crowd too, just to catch you up on Jack. Southern is 1-1. They lost to La Tech. They won big last week against Mississippi Valley. Jackson State got clobbered by Middle Tennessee State in the first week, 70-14. Then they lost to Tennessee State, which I believe is a MEAC school, 35-25 last week. So they're looking for their first win. Coach, you have a pick. I think I heard you say it, but just for the crowd again, who is your pick in this game?
Southern University, all the way.
That's what I figured.
All right, let's go cross town. Oh, what's up?
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm trying to pull up the Sheridan poll to see if we've had any changes. In other HBCU news, Hatfield beat Howard last night, and that final score I think was like 38-17. Not quite certain on that, but it was somewhere around there. I know for certain. So I guess I'll circle back. You guys go ahead, and as soon as the Sheridan poll pulls up, I will share that with the folks.
And on the other side of town, rolling quickly, moving swiftly in the hoopty ride. Gotta get my 8-ball on. It might be that was the line from the hip hop song "Armed Robbery," and that could be what it is today. As Auburn's going to come to Tiger Stadium to Death Valley, they will be playing at 1:30. That game is on CBS. Look, this is a big game for both teams. These are 2 historic bitter rivals for as long as I can remember. LSU number 13, Auburn I believe they are ranked number 18. Well, I'm sorry, that's a 2:30 on CBS, not 1:30. That is a 2:30 game. But here's the deal. LSU, I thought, faced a very tough challenge last week. We had talked about it. Coach had picked Mississippi State. He said he was picking an upset, and we were like, well, I don't know how big of an upset that is, and it came down to the wire. Let me just to fill you guys in, Mississippi State was probably never going to, they could have attempted that field goal 5 times. The kicker would have never made it. His career long was 40. It was a 53-yard field goal at the end that was missed to give LSU the win. But that game was still very, very close, 21-19, and it was a lot like we expected. A lot of hard-hitting defense, solid running. Leonard Fournette, oh my goodness. If you didn't know Leonard Fournette, you better ask somebody. I was very impressed with him, and I think we can expect more of that. Powerful running, targeted passing. I do think that Mississippi State's defense is much, much better than Auburn's. I think Mississippi State is a lot. I think people might be overlooking them. That was a really good football team that LSU almost lost to. They're at home. They're in Tiger Stadium. I think Auburn's defense is. I think Auburn is going to have a rough go of it this year. I just don't see how they're going to stop folks. For that reason, I think LSU wins. I think they win handily. I don't even think Auburn has the passing game. I don't see them with the tools. I think they're ranked based off of who they are, where they've come from, the fact they haven't lost this year. But I think it's going to be a rough year for Auburn. Gus Malzahn's a good coach. He has the X's and O's, but you got to win games on the field and the talent level. I think it's going to be too much for his defense, and I don't think his offense is going to have the firepower to keep up with the Alabamas and the Ole Misses. So I like LSU very handily in this game today.
Well, man, this is going to tell. I said last week, actually, this game here to me is going to tell what LSU is all about. I think LSU is the truth. I think they're the real deal. I said it before the season. I thought LSU can actually go all the way. I think Leonard Fournette is a top 5 running back in the country and on the rise. He can be the top 3, it's all up to him. And I think they go as far as he goes. If he can be a special type of back like the Ingram was in college or Trent Richardson, these guys were in college, then LSU has a real chance. If they beat Auburn today, the next game they play Syracuse, then they go to Eastern Michigan, then South Carolina, Florida, Western Kentucky. They can win all those games. And if they beat Alabama, All they have left is Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, but I'm saying the schedule looks very, very good for LSU if they get past this Auburn team.
Okay, Joker, you said after I was nodding along with you until that very last part where you said after Alabama all they have is Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. I mean, Mrs. Lincoln, other than what happened to your husband, I mean, it was a pretty good show.
Well, I look at it like
tough.
Well, I look at it like if they win all those games and beat Alabama, then they're going to be the number one team in the country. So Arkansas, Ole Miss, I don't know where they would be at the moment.
Right.
But I think if you get that far undefeated, then, you know, those last three, you should be heavy favorites.
They have a puncher's chance. I agree with you on that. It's whew.
But for this game, of course, I think they're going to beat Auburn. Auburn struggled with Jacksonville State last week.
Overtime.
They actually had a little struggle with Louisville in their first week of the season. So I think LSU makes a statement this week and gets rid of this and, you know, blows his team out.
Okay, so let me say, Auburn struggled last week because they were looking forward to this game right here. However, also let me say that the real DB university, Auburn's DBs are better than LSU's DBs. I'm not sure if we can call them DB University, though, but they are better than the ones they're coming to play today. The difference is this. That man, number 7,
yes,
wearing that purple and gold.
Yes, indeed. He's a beast.
He is the difference, and he is a man. And I think last week LSU played a little possum as to not show their entire hand. And I think this week you're going to see a lot more play action downfield passing to let the quarterback show his arm, and you're going to see how this offense can really be explosive.
Man, you hit it right.
I like your assessment.
Me too. I really like your assessment. You know who I was looking at? I was looking at a thing on ESPN this morning. It was about Lawrence Phillips.
I saw that.
And you know what, Fortnite kind of reminds me a little bit. When I saw the old pictures of Lawrence Phillips running and the power, and they had a little special about him. You know, he just got indicted on a murder charge of his cellmate here last month, and they was going over his letters. He's writing letters to his former coaches.
I saw that.
It was pretty.
That was riveting.
Yeah, it was. But so we got all three of us are going with LSU.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So we're all on the boat on that one. Were we able to get the Sheridan poll up, Coach?
Not yet.
Okay.
But we have a host of other SEC games going on today. Another big game is Ole Miss and Alabama.
Dun, 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 dun,
Wish I had the music to go with it, man. It would be so much more dramatic. But I got Eric Hatfield. But Ole Miss, Alabama.
It's going to be a fabulous time in the Old South. Just a Southern fried good time in Alabama. As the visitors from the Magnolia State come on. Of course, Ole Miss upset Alabama last year, and that really helped vault them to the number one spot for a while till LSU dethroned them, interestingly, in what was an epic matchup last year. Look, I think Alabama's ranked number 2 in the country.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Alabama, but I'll tell you what, I think anything can happen. I think the home field is going to be the difference, but watch this game. It's going to be worth watching. I'm going Bama though.
You're going Bama. I'm going with Ole Miss. I am going with Ole Miss again.
Oh, sakes alive, Joker.
And I tell you what, this game is going to help LSU because when Alabama loses today, they'll have one loss on their record. I'm just going to tell you how it's going to go down. Alabama's going to lose today. I like they got this analytics type thing going on now on ESPN where they use their computer to project the percentages of what teams should win and this and that. And they have their poll. They have a top 10 college poll of analytics at ESPN, and Ole Miss is number 1. They have Ole Miss, number 1. They have Ohio State number 2. They have TCU number 3. They have LSU number 6.
That is interesting. I'll tell you what, talent-wise, Hugh Freeze, in the time he's been at Ole Miss, has done a fantastic. He's put a wall around the state. We were talking about putting a wall around the state last night when Nick Saban came to Louisiana, which has benefited Les Miles at LSU. Man, Hugh Freeze is putting a wall around the state of Mississippi, and he's got some talented players that he's brought in. He's done a heck of a job recruiting, and it's starting to bear fruit.
And the reason why I'm picking them because of their defense. They have great secondary, and Alabama's quarterback hasn't proven nothing to me yet. I like their running game that they have, but I just think that Ole Miss has the advantage, with Treadwell and also on the defense.
And he's back.
And he's back strong.
You mentioned the running game. That's why I give ever so slightly that edge to Alabama. They're going to be at home. There's going to be the crowd noise, but that Derrick Henry, he is like a pony. He's a man too. He's just he's a beast. He is just a bull. I mean, he is tough to tackle, and I think that might be just a little bit of difference. So, sakes alive, Joker picked this Magnolia State. Coach Perry Daniels, what do you have in this fine gentlemanly rivalry?
Nick Saban.
They say Nick Saban. Okay.
He's taking Alabama.
You just throw all the stats out the window. You go straight to this is what it's about. Nick Saban against the other coach. Right.
And look, coming
it's hard
up
to argue that.
in about 16 minutes, we have Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM, WHYRLP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. My voice always gets deeper when I announce Music Satisfaction.
Yeah, just something about Noel. It makes your voice Noel.
That smooth soul.
All right, I've got that poll. Alcorn State number 1, Tennessee State number 2, North Carolina A&T number 3, Bethune-Cookman number 4, South Carolina State number 5, Hampton University number 6, Southern University tied with Hampton at number 6, North Carolina Central at 8, Prairie View out of the SWAC at 9.
Wow.
Texas Southern rounds out the top 10.
Coach, that
Texas
just
Southern.
blew my mind from an historical standpoint when you said Prairie View A&M was number 9. For those who are not old enough to remember, Prairie View was the whipping boy. I can't even. They didn't win a game for like 10 years or something outrageous like that. Like they did not win a game for a very, very long time, and now they're one of the best HBCUs in the country. That just made my head pop when you said that, Coach.
Yes, indeed.
They've come a long way.
They sure have.
Come a long way.
Yeah.
Well, let's move to the NFL, fellas.
Well, before
do we got Kentucky, Florida.
We got Kentucky, Florida. Yeah, Coach. Man, you win Kentucky, man. Don't let them guys find out you said that, man. I don't want them to get you out of there early.
Hey, well, look, let me get my pick out of the way early because I do want to eat. So
well, you better pick Kentucky then. Who you got?
I've got Kentucky.
Oh, wow. That is bravery.
Yeah, you got Kentucky. And why is that, Coach?
Because I want to eat.
You're a smart man.
Actually, I like what they're doing with this program. They're at home. They've come up with a big national win in South Carolina. That was their first road victory in over 20 games. So their confidence is riding high, and Florida really hasn't played anyone of this caliber this year. So I think we're in for a long, high-scoring football game. Both teams are going to throw the ball around, but I think Kentucky comes out victorious.
Well, I don't have to eat, so I can. But every time I get ready to drink the blue Kool-Aid of Kentucky, they've shown me they're not quite ready for prime time yet. Now that was last year. This is this year. I still think I like the Florida defensive talent just enough to bottle up Kentucky, but Florida is they're in Kentucky and. Boy, I'm almost tempted to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm going to say, if I were Mel Kiper, I'd have the two things with the Gator and then with the Wildcat. I'm going to put the Gator in my head, but I'm going to keep an eye on this game because I'm not going to. I'm going with Florida, but I'm keeping my eye on this game.
In this game, SEC, I think Kentucky is on the rise. Kentucky had a real big win last week, so I'm going to go with the momentum. I'm going to go with Kentucky Wildcats in this game.
So we'll see who's right and who's wrong and who told who. And before we jump into the men of the National Football League, that brings us up to our normal segment. I told you so. I'm just going to make this disclaimer. I'm in the process of moving, so it's not going to be quite. It's going to be a little more vanilla than usual, but here we go.
I told you so.
Let's go.
Here it comes.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
It's going to be a good top 25 matchup. LSU ranked number 14, Mississippi State ranked number 25. Of course, I know we're coming up to that part. We kind of pick but I don't think Mississippi State's beat LSU 2 years in a row in my lifetime. I have not checked that out, but I'm going to go with. I think LSU is going to win. I think it'll be tough. I think those cowbells will be miserable.
And say that LSU will go on the road and beat Dak Prescott. I'm going with LSU.
They wrap it up.
All right, I'm going to say that Mississippi State is going to pull off an upset here
and face the Michigan State Spartans. This is a number 5 versus number 7 matchup. Number 5, Michigan State. Oregon, I believe, is ranked number 7. Well, they'd have to be if Michigan. When I say comfortably, I mean maybe by 8, 9, 10 points. But I expect Michigan State to win the ball game. Not
do like
sure thing.
Right.
But Arizona's a recipe for the kind of team that the Saints are going to struggle with this year. It's on the road. Arizona has a strong defense. Carson Palmer's back. They have a good running game. That is a recipe for a loss for the Saints. So I think the Saints drop this game in week 1. Wrap it up.
Man, you think they lose in week 1?
Yeah, probably by a few points too.
I think the Saints are going to win this game. I think, of course, they're going to go on against a great defense.
There's no way the Saints.
I agree. They haven't won a game in the desert since the year 2000. I don't think tomorrow bodes well, but we can hope for the best. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Yeah. I need to hope for the best. Man, I got caught up in drinking the Kool-Aid myself with the Saints. And as bad as I was on the Saints, I actually drank that Kool-Aid and said they was going to go in Arizona and beat them guys. I don't know what was in me, man.
The Arizona Cardinals are exactly the kind of team that's going to be extremely difficult for the Saints to win the road game. Strong defense, strong running game, smart quarterback. That the Saints will not win any games against opponents like that with that profile this year. I don't think they just don't have the defense to do it. Drew Brees. I mean, believe it or not, the Saints scored 5 times last week. The problem is that 4 of them were field goals because Arizona has a defense that really could help get that team to the Super Bowl if Carson Palmer stays healthy. So Saints fans, don't despair. It's not going to be a 5-11 year. Arizona is really that good, but Drew Brees
are that good. They are that good.
Exactly. Drew Brees and the offense can't do it all by themselves. Tampa Bay does not have the Arizona defense. They're in the Superdome this week against the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston. Yes, sir.
If before we move to that, can I say I had no idea that the Mississippi State coach was going to take a timeout home and take a 5-yard penalty on that last second kick.
That was
a delay of game.
Well, I mean, that was.
I just wanted to say that.
Talk about badcoaching.com. I mean, Dan Mullen's a smart guy. I don't know what he was thinking. Those cowbells must have been in his ears, man. But that was cuckoo.
I thought actually that Les Miles kind of he didn't he usually known for having
cojones.
Manager right there.
Right.
It must have been contagious and got to Dan Mullen, infected Dan Mullen, because that was foolish. That was bad, and that might have cost him the game. Again, that kicker was didn't have much range, but still, that hurt.
Yeah.
But back to the Saints though. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, a lot of folks were critical of him last week. Of course, the first pass of his career was a pick six. Well, the last guy who did that's going to walk into the Hall of Fame next August, and that was Brett Favre. But, but for those 2 picks, I thought Jameis, and considering how poor that offensive line is, I thought Jameis Winston looked okay. Of course, saying but for the 2 picks might be saying another Mrs. Lincoln example, but for what happened to your husband, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the show? But, I mean, I like what I've seen for his development through training camp in the first week. He's going to make big mistakes. He's going to have hard knocks. That offensive line in Tampa Bay is made out of Swiss cheese. He's going to have some tough times, but they're going to come to the Superdome. I think Winston won't feel as much pressure. I don't think the Saints are doing as good of a job getting pressure on the quarterback, so I don't think Winston will look as mistake-prone, but I don't think Tampa Bay's defense, they're not even in the same zip code as Arizona's. I think Drew Brees will have a field day. The Saints might even run up 40, certainly 30. I expect the Saints to win tomorrow.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
I want to see.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm listening closely.
Saints are going to have to. I'm going to act like I'm from Missouri. They're going to have to show me. To me, I'm going to be straight up honest. I'm going to be very honest. Drew Brees and the Saints are not the same to me anymore. They're starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. He's starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. He's not, it's just something about. I'm going to go out online and say the Saints are not even going to make the playoffs this year, and that's hard for me to say. I hate to say that, but after seeing what I saw, the Saints will not make the playoffs this year, and you have it on tape. Ooh. I hate to say that, but they won't win a division, and they may lose this game today. I'm going to pick them just on the strength of Tampa Bay is just that bad, but if they lose this, I'm going to pick them just on that strength, just because Tampa Bay is that bad. And Jameis Winston, he's got to step it up. This is 2015, and 10 years ago they gave quarterbacks 3 years to learn and all that type stuff. Now quarterbacks are coming right out. Cam Newton's 400 yards first game. Peyton, the new guys are coming right out. Mariota's first game. I'm gonna give him a little bit of time, but hey, I think he's in a situation that Tampa Bay is kind of. He's up against it because he's with a franchise that's not normally known for winning, so he's going to have a hard time. I think. I think that. But let's go to the other games.
Oh wait, we didn't get Coach.
What we got, Coach? Well, I forgot about.
Yeah, I think just as bad as the Saints looked last week, they're going to look just as good this week.
Oh yeah.
They're going to look really good against Tampa Bay. Is just what they need.
Exactly. And trust me, I'm a doctor.
They're going to look really good tomorrow.
So you got the Saints.
Well,
yeah, I've got the Saints. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Right.
They're going to run the ball well tomorrow. They're going to throw the ball well tomorrow. And even defensively, they're going to look okay.
Mm-hmm.
As good as they can look.
Right. Well, I want them to show me, and I'm saying this because I want to be proved wrong. I want to be.
But hold on now. They're going to look decent because of who they're playing.
Of course. I agree. No, that defense is terrible, man.
It's just not that they are decent. They just going to look decent.
I mean, look, you got three components to a defense: the line, the linebackers, and the secondary. The line might, talent-wise, be a tick above average. The linebackers mediocre, probably below average, and the secondary just looks like an SEC, not high school. That's mean, but they look bad. The secondary might be one of the worst in the league.
The coordinator looks high schoolish. The coordinator looks high schoolish.
He looks like a high school teacher.
Yes, indeed.
Or a professor. Shoot.
Yes, indeed.
That long gray hair, this big belly.
But I actually think that this weekend, I like what the NFL is doing because in a lot of the division, they're bringing the division games right out of the bat. And it's sort of almost like college. We're seeing a lot of conference games early in the schedule of this year, and also in football. You have Dallas and another NFC East matchup Sunday. We have a lot of matchups. We have Green Bay and Seattle. We have, very important matchups. What else we got on the table? That's all we got.
Let's talk.
I told you so. Or what you?
We're gonna let's talk Green Bay, Seattle. We want to talk that. I want to just piggyback on something you said real quick. Sean Payton has only missed the playoffs in back-to-back years once in his entire career. That was in 2007 and 2008. Mm-hmm. And look, you said you think they'll miss the playoffs. I'm going to tell you, I looked at them. I think the Saints I said last week I thought the Saints would finish 9-7. I still think that. There seem to be they're giving me what I expect. 9-7 might not make the playoffs. It could be enough to win this division, but it might not be. So it's going to be rough times in the Peyton Benson consortium. But Green Bay, Seattle, interesting game coming up because Seattle is, a lot of folks are all up in arms because they lost to the St. Louis Rams, and the Rams didn't even play that well, but they've always had trouble in the Trans World Dome, or whatever they call it nowadays in St. Louis. I'm going to throw the records out of the window with that, so to speak. But, with Seattle and Green Bay, Sunday Night Football, I believe that game, Coach, that game is in Seattle, isn't it? I got to double check.
It's in Green Bay.
It's in Green Bay. I'm sorry. So I know T is probably if he's listening, chomping at the bit right now.
And so that's why I'll do my pick first because mine's going to be real quick. I'm going with Seattle just because I'm on some hating today because that's Professor T's team. And since he's with Green Bay, I've got to go with the opposite team. So I'm going with Seattle today. That's for you, Professor. Seattle.
I'm going to go Green Bay because one, they're playing in Lambeau Field, and Cam Chancellor is still absent from that defense, and they're gonna miss him. And while Green Bay's missing Jordy Nelson, Aaron Rodgers is going to use those little bit of advantages, home field, in the absence of Cam Chancellor in that secondary. I think that should be just enough to push the Packers past.
And revenge.
That's right. And they definitely owe them a little something because Green Bay pretty much literally let the Super Bowl slip out of their hand, or the NFC Championship slip out of their hands last year on that onside kick. They got the rug pulled from under them like Tom and Jerry, you know. So I expect Green Bay to be focused and to win this game.
Yes, I have Green Bay as well, which will make Seattle 0-2,
Wow.
which will significantly decrease their chances of returning back to the Super Bowl.
So, yes, and that's why I picked Seattle. It's going to be, man, that's a very important game, and that's why I love the NFL, because it seems every week it's the games are mean something, even early in the season. And I want to say these last couple of minutes, I know you guys love baseball. You know, the pennant race and everything is heating up. The playoff race is heating up. Get those last 2 minutes, Perry. You want to give an update, or you, Eric, on what's going on there?
I'll just tell you, in the National League, it looks like the participants are starting to sort themselves out. I mean, it's going to be the Dodgers are going to win the West. The Central, I would have bet the farm on the Cardinals, but they're getting some heat from the Cubs and Pirates. I don't know what's the lack of hitting is starting to catch up to the Cards. I know Perry doesn't want to hear that, but either way, the Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs will all be in the playoffs this year, and the Mets have been amazing. I don't know what's going on in New York, but they're partying like it's 2006, the last time they made the playoffs. But the American League, man, you could just throw everything out.
Hold on. The Cardinals are 5 games up with 15 left to play. What do you mean, what's going on with the Cardinals?
Because earlier this week, I believe it was either the Cubs or the Pirates that closed within 2.5 games. Now, I do say they're 5 games.
No. Pittsburgh's 5 as of this morning. Pittsburgh's 5 back, and the Cubs are 6 back.
So, and at this point in the season, too, they only got about, 15 games left, or 10 games, 12 games, something like that. I think the Cardinals will get it. They did face a little challenge, but the Cardinals are just that hot. The pitching is going to be what makes or breaks the St. Louis Cardinals. If those pitchers are on their game and Matt Adams comes back healthy and Matt Carpenter handles his business, that should be enough to give the Cardinals another deep push into the playoffs.
There's only one team in Major League Baseball with 90-plus wins. Do you want to guess who that is?
The St. Louis Cardinals. Best record in the league.
Give me you guys Cy Young winners before we go. Minute left.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for Cy Young. I'm not ready for that. Maybe Clayton Kershaw again. I just
what
can't
about
see
the
him
guy with the Mets, even though he just joined the Mets? And what he's doing.
That's a possibility. We got a minute. We got 30 seconds left, so I just want to give them the American League. Kansas City's running away with the Central. Probably will have the best record in the league, possibly. Toronto is surprising everyone. They have the leg up in the East. The Rangers wrestled the lead away from the Astros, who are circling the drain. The wild card, take the rest of the people, throw it up in the air, and pick 2 teams. It's a wild card.
What you got, Coach?
Man, you've got to hope that Houston pulls off that AL West. That would be awesome.
Me too.
Yeah. So are we ready? Are we ready to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, we're ready to wrap it up, man. And like Nappy Roo said, it's going to be a good day. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Yes, indeed, man. What you got? I'm signing off. I want to thank everybody out there. Thank my mom Gwen for listening. What you got?
ADT, JNS, love you.
Have a good afternoon. Noel Jackson coming up.
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil. to the King and Lords of Lords. May He protect us from the evil. Hail to the King, Lords of Lords. May He protect us from evil.